Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Think I'm finally starting to get the hang of everything I need to do to get everything going for live. So, what are we going to do today? Today is just some chill afternoon dailies. So come join me while we try and get my driver rating C at the very least a bit higher. It's going to take some time to get to B. I've been taken over a year to get from driver rank D to C, so but now I've started to improve a bit. Hopefully we can see where we go. So what's the car of choice at the moment for Watkins Glen? It would appear to be the GR10 hybrid. So that time has tumbled. When I did my time yesterday for the qualifying time, obviously as you can see it's 1 minute 31.8. The world fastest was around 1:29, so as you can see that's tumbled quite a lot. Unfortunately mine hasn't, but hey ho, let's see what we can do. I do quite like the black livery on this one. I do quite like these new hybrid cars. What do other people think of them? I quite like the Ferrari, but it's not the car of choice as it seems for a lot of the time. So we're going to go with the GR10 because that's the one that I've been doing my qualifying times with. I did manage to get a 4th position yesterday. I quite like having my brake balance 3 to the rear on these. I don't know whether that's absolutely the best option, but it's where I like to go with it. Let's adjust some of these settings so that you can't hear me changing gear quite so hard. Let's change my gear jolt down and my engine roll down, just so that I've not got those hopefully feedback quite so much through my microphone. Last thing you need to hear is clunk clunk every time I change gear. Now, for those of you who this is your first time with me, my name's Will. I am not very good at this at the moment, but we are trying to improve. Certainly improved over the course of the last year. I did start racing with Gran Turismo on a Thrustmaster T248, and I've recently upgraded from that up to a Thrustmaster T598. I don't have the load cell pedal yet, Thrustmaster, wink wink, but I am currently using a 3D wrap brake mod, which gives a elastometer under the brake pedal, just so that rather than it being distance to use the brake pedal, is more pressure now, but it's not kind of it's not the quality of a load cell, but for the price of it, it does me good. It does the job for me. It does make it a lot easier for me to trail brake, which is what I'm trying to learn how to do. I'm not particularly good at it at the moment, but it is, from what I gather, a very advanced technique, this trail braking. So we just see what we can do with it. Using a Ferrari 488 add-on wheel for my Thrustmaster. I absolutely love this thing. It is a fantastic wheel. really gets you in the feeling like you're in a actual race car. Now I do have problems with my back. I have slip discs in my back which have actually flared up over the last couple of days, so if you hear me yelp every now and then, don't panic. It's just that I've had a bit of a twinge. I will try and minimize it so that it doesn't put people off too much, but unfortunately it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. But this cockpit that I'm in, the GT Omega Sprint, is fantastic. I must say their customer service is absolutely top notch. I had an issue with the seat. I purchased the rig last year, and I've recently started going through the mesh seating. It was coming away from the fabric. I contacted them, sent them pictures. Even though I didn't have my proof of purchase from them, they were obviously able to find it through their website or through all of their details for me. And within a couple of days, they sent me out a replacement fabrics part of the seat, so absolutely, if you are looking to get into sim racing and you want to get a quality piece of kit with brilliant customer service, GT Omega all the way. But as I was saying, this Omega Sprint, the way that this cockpit is, it's a folding cockpit, so I'm not in a bucket seat. It's a little bit like if you can imagine a reclining deck chair. If you haven't seen one of these before, it's a little bit like that, and you can adjust exactly how far back you want to sit. You can have it bolt upright, you can be in a more reclined position. So with my back issues, I am in a more reclined position with my legs nice and stretched out in front of me, so that even though I've got pain in my back at the moment, I can still race without too many problems. It's not the most comfortable thing, but I enjoy racing, and at the moment being in pain is quite tiring mentally, so I need everything I can to keep me in a little bit of a happier mood. I've just uploaded a short talking about comfort when you're sitting in your rig. I've recently added a travel pillow to my setup. It's not a brand new thing. I haven't gone out and purchased it. I have had it for a little while. I just feel when I use it on a plane or long journeys in the car. But for those of you that are looking for that feel of being in a race car, it does make it feel a bit like having a hands device on, I would imagine, because it keeps your neck nice and secured, but it also helps keep me at a much nicer angle, and it's nice and comfortable for me to put my head against. And for me, it's, with being 42 and not really, I'm never going to be an actual race car driver. Realism to me, I'm more bothered about comfort. So although at some point I will look at getting a load cell pedal, these 100 kilo things, I won't be going anywhere near that. I'm quite happy with the pressure that I have to put in at the moment, but I would like a little bit more adjustability, because I don't put a ton of pressure through it. I just like to be able to just put the pressure in where I feel I need to and adjust it through the base currently. In case you're new to sim racing and new to having a Thrustmaster T598, just in case it's any use to you, I have discovered that you can adjust the brake pedal in the T598 settings. So you can adjust just how much pressure you actually need to put in it. If you're only using the race line pedals, I don't know exactly how that will work, because As I said, I have an extra elastometer in mine that adds pressure rather than distance. I imagine it would change the distance that you would need to push, but there is that setting there in case you haven't found it yet, because I hadn't until last night. I've only had the wheel a couple of weeks, so I'm still learning all of its quirks. For example, it's only 5 Newton meters, so it's not the strongest wheel out there, but those 5 Newton meters do make a difference compared to a regular wheel like the T24A or the Logitech G29. But the issue that I have found with having only 5 Newton meters is that in the settings, in the game settings, you can't have the maximum torque particularly high. Because I thought I had a problem with the wheel and the wheelbase, because I was getting, I suppose, what's classed as clipping, I believe it is. So when I was going at very high torque around corners, I was losing all my feedback. I wasn't getting anything coming through the wheel at all. And I've discovered, after speaking to Thrustmaster and a number of people in various forums that are a lot more knowledgeable than me on this sort of thing, that that's because I had the torque settings way too high, which meant that the base couldn't handle it. So rather than it struggling and potentially damaging itself, it cut all the feedback. Now, if I'm wrong, please do mention in the comments, but I'm pretty certain that that's how it was, because I had my maximum torque up at around about 6, and I had the feedback settings very high, sort of 7 or 8. I've now set it down to around about 3 and 3 for both the feedback and the torque, and I don't need a great deal more than that. You don't need to really be fighting the wheel around these corners. At the end of the day, I'm not in a racing situation on track, so I don't need all that extra feel. I don't need to feel personally like I'm sat in the car. I quite like just feeling like I'm playing a game. Might be quite a controversial opinion to some people that are a bit more professional, but I'm never going to be a professional Gran Turismo player. Although I've been playing racing games basically all my life, I've only ever been playing games like Formula 1, Forza Horizon, Forza Motorsport, and even then I've only ever been on a control pad. Now, as much as I absolutely love the immersion, I don't need to feel like I'm on track, in a real track. I'm quite happy just sat in my room here, knowing that if I want to stop, I can just hit pause, rather than having to pull over off track, get out of the car, take my helmet off, have a drink. I can just hit pause, grab my drink next to me, and have a bit of refreshment. Let's see if we can get a clean race, eh? It's quite difficult in these lower lobbies. I do race in a league called ZFS Racing. They have a number of different races that go on most of the week. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, the occasional Sunday. It is quite a competitive league, but it's very clean. It's very clean racing. So if you're interested in some clean racing, go to zfs.co.uk. I believe that's the website. Join up, join one of the academy races. So we're starting in second. I didn't check my tyres, I really should have done. I believe I'm starting on softs, which wasn't my plan. No, it was my plan. I was going to start on softs, go through as far as I can on softs, and then switch over to mediums and hope for the best. I'm not particularly good at the moment with strategies. I just drive. Let other people work the strategies out and then see if it works for me, and if it doesn't, I tweak it. If you're popping into the chat, do say hi. I may not see it initially, but if I see it, I will try and respond. Be lovely to see who we are. Now let's have a go. Let's see. Oh, that one behind me is very quick. Nice and clean out the first corner. Now, I understand that most of these people are going to be a lot quicker than me, so if they want to get past, I'm just going to let them. That wasn't particularly clean, that wasn't very nice. Let's not fight these guys because they are going to knock each other out. I don't see the need for that. That's not very sportsmanlike. That's not very fair at all. I really don't see the need for that. See if we can get some of these places back. See if we can get this guy on the straight. See if we can get in his slipstream. There we go. We should be able to overpower him on the straight, hopefully, because he shouldn't have the slip from in front. Nope, not quite fast enough there. But let's keep it clean through these. Just over a second to the person behind me. I think we've lost the dirty driver, so that's good. Something that I've learned from some of the online races like Rory Alexander is just be patient, and hopefully places will come to us. I do apologise about that. What are you doing? Try and... Oh. That was not deliberate at all, mister. Do apologise. Let him go. Braking in some very strange places, in my opinion. Now you can tell that I'm still quite a fresh driver. I've got the driving line on, I've got the braking indicators on. But at the end of the day, it helps me. It helps me not have to struggle too much. So I don't mind. I know people call it cheating or just, oh, you're a newbie. Yes, I am a newbie. Thank you very much. I'm a newbie who's trying to learn. So There's only one way to get better, and that's practice. Come on, let's see if we can take this guy. Fellow Englishman. I'm getting caught from Dominus behind me. That's not comfortable, doesn't make me feel comfortable. Got a better exit there. Let's see if we can take him in the braking. There we go, that's what we wanted. Is he going to come back to me? I thought he was going to try and go around the other outside there, so that's why we backed off a touch. At the end of the day, I'd rather lose a place than spin out. If you're popping into the chat at any point, please let me know where you're from. I'd love to know where everyone's watching me from. Oh, I lost 2 places on that corner there. That wasn't very good for me. But if I can keep on Rafa's back, he's got a penalty, so hopefully that'll come back to us. Dominus is obviously quicker than I am, so let's just let him go. If you're watching me and you're seeing that you're a more experienced driver than I am, which most people that are playing this game probably are, if you see that I'm doing anything that you think, you know, hey, he can improve by doing this, please let me know. The only way I can improve. And we've got that dirty driver again. There we go. That gets rid of him. I definitely don't condone revenge, but he was doing that deliberately. And at the end of the day, I'm not Rory, one of the cleanest drivers on YouTube. I will do my best to keep my sportsmanship rating as at the top end of S, and be as clean and as courteous as I can. But if you're deliberately trying to take me out just for the sake of getting a place, you get 1 pass. After that, you're fair game, in my opinion. Now, my only aim for these races is to improve my driver rating. So basically all I'm trying to do is place 8th or higher. And at the same time we're trying not to drop driver rating or safety rate or sportsman rating. I do like the fact that my sportsmanship rating cannot get any higher. Physically can't. It is the top end of S, and I'm quite proud of that, because it shows that I am a clean racer. May not be the best, but I pride myself in being clean. If I'm clean, then speed will come. Well, it'll either come or it won't. Hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. It's likely to be the day that I stream, because it's my day off of work. and it's the day when I have the house to myself for most of the day, so it's unlikely to be getting interrupted at all, and I can just chill. See where everyone starts to pit. I'm probably going to try and go, I'm going to go as far as I can on these tyres because they're still very good for me. Still getting some decent times out of them, so there's absolutely no point in me switching onto the slower tyre just yet. I'm not as harsh on my tyres as some people because I'm not as quick. So here we go. So everyone's pitting around 6. These next couple of laps are absolutely critical for me. I need some fast laps. Because those medium tyres are not as good. Soft tyres are definitely the fastest tyres around here. That's me looking at my other screen. Don't have the gap to be doing that, so I need to be paying a bit more attention. Something I do have issues with is keeping my attention focused. Having recently been diagnosed ADHD has definitely made a difference. It's helped me understand a lot of things about myself and about some of the struggles that I've had over the years. I've got my feedback to check see whether I've actually got autism as well in a couple of days. We'll find out whether I'm ADHD or AUDHD. I don't know. We'll find out. Now my tyres are still good, so we're going to keep going for another lap or two. I think that time lost was me making mistakes. If I can, I'll probably want to try to get to lap 9 or 10. We'll see what sort of times I'm getting in the sector splits. We're about half a second down now. Oh, that's not good. If I slow down a bit, maybe I won't get a penalty there, but I probably will. That's definitely not going to help me trying to jump people in pits. Managed to get away with that just by taking a little bit of extra time and decelerating, not gaining any sort of advantage or anything. I think the game says I lost enough time on that lap. Didn't want to penalise me further. We are still pulling away a little bit from Rafa. Or we were. I don't know where we're at now. There we go. So pulling away a tiny little bit. Oh, that was a nice corner. Obviously we're going to lose a number of places when we do pit. But as long as I can hopefully keep 6th or 7th, that's what I'm planning for. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. I think that sector was green, so we might even keep another lap. Maybe coming on lap 10. put those mediums on for as short a time as possible. I am enjoying this combination quite a lot, Watkins Glen and these hypercars. I feel like these hypercars quite suit my driving style. He says he's about to get a penalty. There we go. Right, let's go around on these softs one more time. Serve that penalty. Because we are still pulling away from Rafa in second there. There we go, Rafa's just gone in. We need to come in for some fresh tyres at the end of this lap. So I am now losing time on these. That front left is pretty much shot. And Filippo is now gaining on me a little bit. Oh, that was bad. Go. Okay, that's my penalty served. So let's go get some fresh rubber and then see where we end up. I cannot for the life of me remember the tag of that dirty driver, so I don't know where I'm going to end up with regards to him. Hopefully nowhere near. I hate this entrance. It's quite a tricky entrance for me. Right, here we go. We don't need fuel. Quick drink. Let's see if we've made any positions in the pits. We came in. Everyone started pitting when I was in 6th. So we may at least keep some positions. So we've gained a position. I believe I raced Venom the other day and he's pretty quick, so that is not bad. Now let's see what we can do on these fresh tyres. I think Dominus is just starting to catch me a bit. Yeah, just pulled a couple of tenths out on that lap alone. So I'm quite probably going to lose this position to Dominus. But 6th will still be quite good for me. We're on the final lap. Let's see if we can't keep this 5th place. Is Venom going to get a penalty for that? And we're pulling away from Dominus. No, Venom's got away with that. So I think 4th place is out of reach. But as long as I don't do anything absolutely stupid in the next half a lap, 5th place is mine. Which, for our first race of the day, I will take that any day of the week. At the end of the day, it's going to improve my driver rating, and that's all we're trying to do. Oh, I am going to probably get a penalty for that, which is going to put me behind Dominus if I do. No, I've got away with it. Keep out of this. No, don't. There's nice. 5th position on the first race of the day. Let's take that. How are we all doing today? Some people are obviously forgetting to pit, or just hoping that they can get quick enough that they don't need to pit. Always check the race settings, guys. Right. Race number 2 is at 2 o'clock. So we're going to go for the GR10 again, because that seems to be the car of choice, and it also seems to be a very nice car. Just having a quick chat through WhatsApp with my other half. So if I go a bit quiet for the moment, it's just because I'm messaging. Don't think we're going to improve our qualifying time at all, but we can definitely try. That was definitely a very good race, that one before. It's a shame about the dirty drivers, but you're going to get them in every race generally. As I mentioned earlier on, if you want some clean league racing, ZFS Racing, we're on Discord, got a website, has some good clean racing. We have marshals or stewards. So if you have issues, we have a gentleman's agreement. Basically, don't be a dick. It's not quite the wording, but I don't like the actual wording, so I change it to "Don't be a dick." It's a little bit strong for my liking otherwise, and I don't see the need for it. I have no idea how I managed the 131.8. No idea at all. I must have been on autopilot or something. When I first started, this was one of my worst tracks. I absolutely hated it. Specifically, that chicane part right there, I could never manage it. Whereas now, it's probably one of my best tracks. There aren't many tracks I'm amazingly good at, but this is certainly one I enjoy. It flows nicely. Do you ever just get that one lap that just everything just fits, everything works, but then you just can't replicate it, no matter how hard you try? That was that 131 for me. I'm able to get into the 132s occasionally, but yeah, I was fully expecting that. I think I'm probably braking too early for that corner, so we'll try and adjust that on the next one if I get around one more time, which I don't know whether I will. Probably should have dropped down to first there to help the car tip in, but so we're going to do the same strategy again, softs through till laps 9 or 10. Probably lap 10 if we can. Just having an issue with my television. So obviously decided that TV's been on for too long. Wanted to automatically turn off. So let's just wait here for the clock to run down before we start the next race. Starting 5th on this time. Everyone seems to be very closely matched. Dominus again. Obviously likes to come from the back. He's very quick. I don't understand that Jay Sheehan's comment. It does it though. I don't really understand what he's getting at, but well, I don't think we have that driver from the last race that was the particularly dirty one that I had to punt off, so that's a good start. Okay, 12 laps Watkins Glen. Let's see what we can do. I do enjoy these hypercars. I like that Polyphony have decided to start putting them in the dailies, meaning that we've not got to spend 3 million credits to purchase them. That's a nice start there for us. End of the day, just keep your nose clean. You generally can get a good start. Don't know how well we'll carry on, but let's take it as a good omen. So Bareback is going to get a penalty here, so we'll take him, get back on the racing line. These are in front of fighting in what I would consider to be silly places. They're going to end up taking each other out, hopefully. Because if they do, then we can clean up the scraps there. That was not my best exit. Bareback is now coming up on us. Well, that was a poor choice of words there. Bareback is catching us, let's put it that way instead. But we are also catching these two that are fighting for first, which is quite nice when I make the corner. There we go. Wondering whether these guys are on medium tyres, which is why I'm catching them relatively easily. Because let's be fair, they're coming to me quite easily, and I'm pulling away from who is now Stu in third position. See where he stops here. Oh, that was a bit close to the wall. Closer than I would have liked. Sorry, mister. That was not deliberate, but I will take the scraps. That puts us up to second place. And now we need to catch Salvo. .3 seconds. He is quick. We also need to try and drop Bahia. He's pulled half a second away from us. Not quite sure where I'm gonna pull that back. Don't know whether I can. Well, we fall back a couple of tenths, so that's something. But Bahia is coming back at us. Oh, he had a penalty. That's very good for us. But then I've managed to pull myself a penalty on that corner as well. Now I seem to be having some issues with my wheel again. My gear jolt appears to have disappeared, which is not what we were looking for. Is the problem with these T598s is that they are prone to a few little niggles. I love the wheel, but it's so frustrating when you get these little issues halfway through a race. It just changes the feel, losing a lot of feedback. I have managed to put a couple of USB fans attached directly pointing at the base because it can overheat. So overheating is not the issue here. Probably having a mild disconnect. So when we stop for the pits, I will take my wheel off and reconnect it and see if that makes a difference. Still got my feedback on the straights, but turning into the corners is not giving me the feedback that I would like. We have been on for a number of hours now just doing other things before I came on stream, so it could be that it's not liking something on the internals. We are getting reeled in by the Frenchman. It's very off-putting that I've lost feedback in corners. He is likely going to get me on the straight, I think, because he'll get in my slipstream. Maybe he won't. But Salvo is pulling away. Braked way too early on that corner. If he wants to get past, we're just going to let him. Pull off the line. Straight just a touch earlier. Let's not fight for someone with someone who might end up slowing us down. He's had more penalties than we have so far this race. And we're 8 seconds towards Jack, or in front of Jack, so we've got a nice buffer there. Lap 7 out of 12, so we're going to have a couple more laps on these softs, and we're going to go into the pits. I'm going to have a quick moment and see if I can sort out the issues with my steering wheel. Thrustmaster, if you're somehow watching this lonely person stream, please get a fix for the T598. It is a absolutely amazing wheel, but there are just so many little niggles that are just making it sometimes I just wonder why I didn't go with Fanatec. But I do like Thrustmaster equipment for the most part. And every time I have contacted them through their customer service, they have replied relatively quickly. Unfortunately, I did purchase this second hand, so if I do need to send it away to them, that's going to be very difficult. But if it comes to it, we might need to. I do still have my previous wheel, that's that Thrustmaster T248, so if I need to, I can just transfer back to that one. Hopefully just a quick reset of the wheel might help. We'll just turn it off, unplug the wheel really quickly. Right, this is an important lap. We need to see if I can't jump these guys. At the very least, keep my second place. That was not what we wanted to do. Managed to hold it though, so Salvo will jump us back to his pole when we take our pit stop, but that's fine. or his lead even. We're not fighting for the win here, we're fighting for second. But even then, for me, second place, I will take that every day of the week. We're going to go around one more. We're going to do one more tour on these tyres. Do as few as we can get away with on the mediums. That's not going to help us, because that is going to be a penalty. There we are. If anyone's doing these daily races, if you can explain to me, because there's a lot of people seem to be going mediums most of the way, if you can explain the reasoning behind that, because I feel that the soft works so much better. Because they're certainly lasting. Right, servo penalty. Head round to the pits. Get some fresh rubber. And see if I can still come out in front of the Frenchman. Oh, not if I'm doing that. Grass looked a little bit long, I thought it needed a bit of a cut. Right. Right, disconnect the wheel. Connect it back up again and hope for the best. Let's see where we come out. Yeah, so I've lost a couple of positions there. I'm not sure how. Not sure how I've lost 2 positions there. Oh, that's not going to help us at all. I've got my feedback back. Let's just let Stu go. That's going to put us well back to where... And I've lost my feedback again. And I feel like I'm disconnecting. This is really frustrating. I've lost 3rd position here. And there is absolutely nothing I can do about it. We were having such a great race there. Maybe my strategy wasn't the best one. It seemed to be working, but maybe not. Well, let's just keep Jack off of our tail and see whether half of the issue is whether some of these people haven't pitted. Can but hope. I think I've got my feedback back. Yeah, I've got my cornering feedback again. Oh, it's just so intermittent. I'm going to have to turn some settings down, I think. I'm not going to put the bad finish down to the wheel, but it's definitely not helping. This is very frustrating. I had such a good finish on the cards there, but 8th place means we don't lose any driver rating at least. 7th place because one of them didn't pit, so we'll take that. Let's turn the... Oh, it's done it itself. I think what I'm going to need to do is restart my wheel completely. Power it off, power it back on again. Because I've now got a permanent rumble. Okay, let's power off this wheel, leave it a minute, and then go back to it. So the base itself isn't too hot. It's hot in a couple of places, which is to be expected. So let's see if we can't see what's going on. When it eventually loads in, we'll see if we can turn the settings down for the in-game stuff. Okay, so that's not what we want. We want the controller settings. Let's turn these right down. Have a quick swig of my drink. See if this has made any difference at all to the feedback. Well, I've got my gear jolt back, and I've got my cornering back. I did have the gear jolt and everything set to high. Obviously I turned it down a little bit earlier on. So we have had to turn the in-game settings down. Which is a mild shame, but I'm not feeling much difference. Feeling a little bit less torque on the wheel. Thrustmaster, if for some crazy reason any of your employees are watching, I don't know whether there's a firmware update or anything or maybe a boost kit that you can do. Obviously this is, I suppose, a entry-level direct drive wheel. So you can't expect the absolute world from it. But I'd like to be able to have my torque settings a little bit higher than 2 or 3 on the in-game menu, just to give me that little bit of extra feedback. We'll come out of this in just a moment and just check to see where our driver rating has got to, because it's improved in both those races. It's probably not jumped a massive amount, especially after the 8th place in the last one, after qualifying 5th, so not our finest hour. If anyone has some good settings for the Thrustmaster T598, please feel free to pop them in the comments. I am still tweaking things to get them exactly how I like it. I'd like to have a little bit more torque on the wheel. I would have thought you would be able to have it a little bit higher than 2, even with these hypercars. Because again, I'm not getting the full feedback going around the corners there. Ends up being almost gliding around. I like to have a little bit of resistance there. Okay, so let's finish off this lap, and then we'll go back to the menu and we'll see where our driver ratings are. So let's see if it's improved very much. It has improved a little bit, which is quite nice. That's quite good. Okay, let's fiddle with some of these settings on my brake. Let's turn the engine roar down to low. Turn the spring off. I think I had a very quick loss of very quick disconnect before, because some of these settings that I had on here have disappeared. Turn that up a little bit now that we've turned the engine roar down. See if that helps it. If I end up losing some feeling during the race, I'll lose feeling during the race. I'll change it at the pit stop. So we're starting 5th again. We have a couple of people from the previous race. We've got Stu, we've got Mezek. Just had some good news from my other half. My elderly cat has gone to the vets and had some blood work and things, and the blood work has all come back nice and starting to put some weight on. So for a cat with cancer, that is a very good result. Changed gear a little bit too early there, but hey ho. There we go. So I've got a little bit of extra torque there. Don't know how long that will last, but let's not fight with these guys. Definitely losing a bit of road feeling though on the turns. So Stu has a ½ second penalty there for going off track. And I've just lost my gear jolt, which is not what you want when you're turning a corner. I think my wheel just disconnected. This is really unhelpful. It's very intermittent at the moment. They're going to take each other out in a minute. And we're going to hang back and try and pick up some scraps. And that's the scraps that we were looking for. Now, I wasn't paying quite enough attention. I don't know whether I got hit from behind there or whether I just lost grip. Well, it's not that I wasn't paying enough attention, I just didn't see it because I was paying attention to other things. Because again, I've lost all of my feedback. Which is not what you need when you're relying on it for telling where your grip ends. If I've got a little bit quiet, I do apologise. It's because I'm trying to concentrate at the moment. I want to see if we can't get this gentleman in front of us. Because he is all over the place. We'll get him eventually. Just not just yet. When we pit, we'll drop our maximum torque down again. See if that makes a difference in the corners. Because it does appear to be just when I'm turning the wheel, so just when I'm asking it to do a little bit more work. I do have all the cables cable tied at the back and actually connected to the rig, so in theory it shouldn't be anything to do with that, because I do know that there are issues with the power supply connector. I may have to look at doing the modification that some people have done to make the connection that little bit better. Don't really want to have to do that, so we may just contact Thrustmaster and see if we can get a new power supply. And see if that helps. Because I do know that even though the base is second hand, it's not particularly old, it's less than a year old. We are going to get a penalty for that. Yeah, I was hoping that dropping back a touch would have made a difference, but not enough. Well, we're probably looking to finishing probably around about 6th if the last race was anything to go by. We are at least hopefully gonna not lose too much time to stew after that penalty. We have lost best part of a second though, which is not ideal. Masso is pitting already, which seems a little bit early to me, but at the end of the day he is quicker. So he might know something I don't. Well, we've just done a purple first sector. Unfortunately, that's probably where my purples are going to end. Unless I grip the steering wheel too hard. Sorry about that. That was not intentional. I just appeared to have a better exit than you did. He appears to be losing his tyres a lot quicker than me. We have taken a couple of seconds away from Stu, or in front of Stu, pulled away a bit. So that's nice. He is pitting, so that's good for us. Let's amend our strategy. So we'll go to lap 8. And hope for the best. That was not ideal. However, backing out made all the difference because we didn't get the penalty there. I obviously backed out quick enough. There does appear to be some correlation between if you go off track, as long as you give some of the time back, I don't know how much time you have to give back, but as long as you give some of it back, you don't get the penalty. So that is helpful. I'm still braking far too early at that corner. And yet, even though I know that I'm doing it, I'm struggling to fix it. We're going to do one more tour on these tyres. And then we're going to go into the pits. When I'm in the pits, I'm then going to try and drop my force feedback again. See if that gives me some of the feedback back into my tyres. So we know that we're going to lose the place to Masso. But obviously we currently don't know how far away third place is. So we're going to peel off into the pits and see if we can fix this issue with my wheel. What else I can do? Forgot that when you go in the pits you can't hit the pause menu. So we are going to struggle with this. We're going to leave it as it is because we've not lost too many places there. Just need to keep 5th place behind us. Well done, that was well taken, mister. And we'll see if I can't get you back at some point. lap 9 of 12, and we are currently in 5th place. I don't know what happened there, I lost the back end somehow. We've got Stu 2.8 behind us, and we are losing time to Race Gibraltar. We're also losing time to Stu behind us. So I don't think we're going to take 4th place back unless he makes a mistake. But we should hopefully keep Stu at bay. He's dropped down to nearly 4 seconds. I just can't afford to be doing this every lap. That gave over a second away, that's not good. On the penultimate lap. So we've had a 6th place, an 8th place, and then we're hoping for a 5th. Because I think as long as I don't make any outrageous mistakes, we should be perfectly safe for a 5th place. There was a time when I first started playing that I couldn't get through a race without spinning 3 or 4 times. Now, half the time, well, less than half the time, but a decent chunk of the time, I'm fighting for podiums. When I don't do stupid stuff like that. Because that has pulled 6th place into contention, because Stu appears to have gone. We are going to struggle to keep 6th place at bay, I think. He is very quick. And he is gaining on us. So we're just going to let him go. Ah, and that's very unlucky. Does give us our 5th place back. But it's such a shame for him, he was doing so well. Confusing as to how he managed it. But we won't focus on that. We'll focus on our 5th place finish. Our 4th place finish. Not sure what quite happened there. Well, thank you for joining me on this Tuesday afternoon. Appreciate you spending some time with me. And we are going to call it there, I think. Going to give this base a little bit of time to cool off. I'm going to go and stretch my legs. It's not particularly hot, but 4th place. That was a good race. Let's see where that puts me on my driver ranking before we go. Not a huge increase, but it is an increase. As you can see, my sportsmanship rating can't get any higher. Well, that's all for today, guys. Thank you for joining me, and we'll catch you next time.